Hello everyone, so Pedro here with CineMilled. Really quick, I wanted to give a quick sneak peek at what comes with the Ronin S2. This is the beautiful new case that it comes in. A little carrying handle. As usual, DJI has pretty nice cases and stuff. Let's get that open. And it actually comes with pretty feature rich, pretty full of accessories. Now, I'm not exactly 100% sure if everything that's here is going to come with it. This is a little bit of a sneak peek, but for sure, as usual, DJI has like an essentials kit. There's sometimes a couple of options on how you can get the Ronin. So with how many extra accessories usually is what that means. If you get this version of the kit, you're going to get quite a few things. So let's see here. We can start off by kind of the heart of something that's really different between this Ronin, this new Ronin and the old one is this new Raven-i wireless video transmitter. So this actually has this really cool quick mounting system that goes right on the bottom of the camera cradle, which we'll see in a second. And this connects via this mini HDMI connector over to your camera, cables included, of course. And this will stream video to your phone or iPad, or any sort of many clients you may have on set. This also is what enables essentially the active track. All right, so we get a host of different cables. Let's see here, I don't know if the camera's gonna focus, but essentially different cables for USB-C cables for like different cameras and whatnot. So lots of options there. And then we have here one of the sort of tripod plates it comes with. This raises it up a little bit. And these two mounting points here is for the iris rod focus rails. So we got different cables here to connect things. And we have the little focus motor that came with the Ronin SC. So it's essentially the same setup. So you can connect it and control it with the integrated thumb wheel on where, sort of where the trigger usually was on the previous gimbals. And again, more cables. So awesome. It comes with the full assortment of just about everything you might need. Then of course we got the included tripod, which we're familiar with from previous Ronin-S's. Here is the battery grip. Now this is different than the battery grip for the Ronin-S or the SC. I know some people were very curious about whether it was going to be the same or different. It's different, so you won't be able to use your previous grips or batteries. You can see here the connector is very different, and it does just swivel on there. So we have here, which is essentially this monitor mount, you can call it. It's for your phone, obviously, and it's going to slide in the included sort of natal rail that's going to be on the Ronin-S, and then you're going to hold your phone, where you can get the video that's coming from your camera. And in this pocket, we have the main dovetail for the camera dovetail for the Ronin S2, which it's a little bit of a new configuration. So basically you have a secondary, here's the safety catch. You have a secondary tripod plate that actually goes on the camera, and that slides in here. And then this is the dovetail that goes fore and aft for your balancing. And you can put your lens support right in there also. But the main advantage of this is you can pop the camera off with the iris rod and still bolt it to it if you use the other little, this guy that's included right here. So you can put the iris rods on there. So that means you can slide the camera off and still have your iris attached to it and just pop it on your other tripod or whatever, and then quickly go back to your gimbal without really having to rebalance, because the balance is met by sliding this piece back and forth, not this piece. So that means you can take your camera off and on and not have to rebalance. So that's actually a pretty cool, smart upgrade. Finally here, this is kind of something really interesting and cool. This is a included handle, I guess. So what this does is this slides in to the NATO rail on the base of the Ronin, not the base, but the middle of it where the monitor is. And then you see here how it goes back, and this is angled. You can then take your tripod and spin it on here and use that as a grip. So that essentially creates kind of an angled grip setup that is very familiar and very popular these days with a lot of Ronin pistol grip sort of gimbal users out there and Ronin users. There will be a regular traditional handlebar dual grip setup for this as well. So down here we have our Ronin S2, and just undo the Velcro straps here holding it in, and boom. And right away we see one of the biggest new improvements, which is axis locks. So this is kind of a huge deal for a lot of us who've been dealing with the Ronin S and the S2 that kind of flop around, make it sort of a little bit of a pain to pack because you got to like strap all the arms together. But more than just transporting it, the biggest difference this makes is actually balancing the rig, because this will lock in the balanced position also, so that you can essentially balance one axis at a time, very similar to the Ronin 2 in that effect. So every axis has a axis lock, and as you see there, it locks in both orientations, right? In the sort of standing up orientation and in the travel orientation. So you just use that cool little knob and then push down, and then it locks in place. There's our battery base. Here is the bottom of the Ronin. Comes with this little rubber protector here that we're going to get rid of. And then that basically just plops on there. And then you see here there's this new system to secure the battery. And that's to avoid accidental disconnections, which some people have struggled with in the past. So basically now you have a push button and a pressure switch right there. And then right here you have the trigger, as a lot of you are familiar. And what's new here is right here next to the trigger, we have a focus wheel. And then you can see here the NATO rail with the communication pins. Same thing on this side. So like I said, there will probably be a dual handle setup released at the same time. I was also told there is going to be a universal mount that's going to be released at the same time that is going to need to be powered by the battery. It's not going to have a D-tap like the previous universal mount. And let's see here. Each axis has this really cool, easy to use tension lever. So that's how you lock the axis in place after you do a balance, after you balance it. So let's release that there. And let me lock that there in that position. And there we go. I'm going to release that there and lock it there in that position. So as you can see, it stays still in the sort of balancing position, which means you can balance one axis at a time, right? Just like you would your Ronin 2, for example, which is very helpful when balancing cameras. And, you know, so you're not fighting, you're trying to figure out where your balance is on one axis while the other axis is moving. So there is the pressure lever, and that's how you would adjust the Ronin S2 just by sliding it back and forth. So nothing's changed there. What also has changed is the dovetail has a gear system so that you can fine tune your fore and aft balance by using the knob right here. And then this, of course, locks it in place. This is the tilt arm right here. There's a little cover here that you can remove, and then exposes 3 USB-C ports. So as you can see, there's a little icons next to each one of them. And so my guess is that it's intended for different purposes. Like this one has maybe start-stop, RSS. And then this one has a little Wi-Fi right there. All right, so the tilt axis has something new, which there's a little knob here at the bottom that allows you to remove the main, I guess, roll plate is what I would call it. And what that does is, as you can see here, if we spin this around, that exposes here. Here's a safety stop so that the tilt plate can't fall off with your camera on it. And there's a little knob underneath to release it. So what I've been told is that they're coming out with an optional accessory that's going to allow you to mount the camera vertically, for sort of Instagram stories, TikTok, whatever your vertical needs may be. And so this kind of a new development is you'll be able to do vertical video now with the Ronin-S, or you can just slide this back on and go back to regular mode. All right, so let's go ahead and turn this puppy on. So you can see here it lit up red right after booting up. And so this is actually a quick indicator. In this case, it's beeping because our axes are locked, but now it went to sleep. But if you were properly balanced, it's going to give you a green visual indicator that you're balanced. Or if all of a sudden something's unbalanced, it's going to give you a visual indicator of that also. And this is a touchscreen. And as you can see here, you can easily, quickly select the follow speeds, right, of the operation, of how much it follows your input. Or you can go into custom, like I like to do, and just scroll through. The touchscreen is very high quality. It seems to be responding to my inputs very well. And there you go. And you can see here the different menus you can go in, and the different modes you can have, and your current follow speed and all that stuff. But the really interesting thing is if you put the camera up top, you will be able to get the image down here. All right, guys, this was just intended as a very quick look at what you get, a little quick early unboxing, what you get with the Ronin S2 and the main differences about the Ronin S2 versus the Ronin-S that you might already have. That said, the motors have a little bit more payload, the gimbal is a little bit lighter, and things are just, it's an evolution of the Ronin-S. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you want to order one, go to our website at CineMilled.com, and we'll be getting a shipment out very soon. And I can't wait to put this on a universal mount and go experiment and see what this new gimbal can do.